So what you have to remember, okay, I'm going to tell you why this is so important. The reason why this is so important is because women have so many options. You need to think about this for a second. The reason why dating is so brutal is because women, at any second of the day, have hundreds of options on their cell phone. They could load up an app and go out on a date with anybody. And majority of men do not flake. Majority of men always believe deep down that this is their only chance or their only opportunity to see her or to maybe, make a good first impression, that they're always willing to show up and they're trying their best. So because of that, majority of women never feel disinterest or what it feels like to not have a bunch of options. Majority of women a lot of times also know that at any given time they could find a man who wants to be with them, take care of them, and probably provide a good life to them or for them.
Ooh, gummy bears, gummy calves heads, gummy jawbreakers.
Modern dating didn't give people more power. It gave them more numbers, more bodies, more options, and somehow less love. Everyone keeps saying modern women have endless options, which is true, but nobody talks about what endless options does to the human brain. Because when options never stop, neither does comparison. And eventually, people stop being people. They become numbers, followers, matches, messages, and yes, body counts. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because body count isn't just about sex. It's about what happens when connection becomes replaceable, when intimacy becomes casual, when attraction becomes disposable, when people start confusing access with value. See, in a world of endless options, experience feels empowering at first. It feels like freedom, control, like winning, until one day you realize you don't remember half the names. You don't remember half the faces. And none of them remember you either. And suddenly, the number that once felt like confidence starts to feel like distance. Because body count isn't about how many people you touched. It's about how many people you didn't keep. And the illusion says, more experience makes you wiser. But reality says, more exposure makes you numb. Because attraction, once repeated, doesn't get stronger. It gets duller. Novelty fades. Bonding weakens. Trust becomes harder. And expectations rise while patience drops. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. The more options you've explored, the harder it becomes to stop exploring. Because your brain learned movement, not stillness. You trained yourself to have. You trained yourself to leave, upgrade, and replace. And now commitment feels unnatural. Not because you can't love, but because you never practiced staying. And now the dating market has this weird contradiction. People want deep connection with shallow history. They want loyalty with endless experimentation. They want devotion with maximum opportunity. They want to feel special while treating people as temporary. And then they wonder why nothing feels real anymore. Body count isn't a moral issue. It's a psychological one. Because every experience rewires expectation. Every replacement lowers tolerance. Every option increases comparison. And comparison is the fastest way to kill attraction. Because no human can compete with memory. And no partner can compete with fantasy. You're not competing against another person. You are competing against 10 past highlights. 10 different bodies, 10 different personalities, 10 different moments. And the brain doesn't remember the bad parts. It only remembers the peaks. Which means real relationships are constantly fighting ghosts. And that's exhausting. And here's the dark joke. People will say body count doesn't matter, but then judge commitment through a history of replacements. They'll say past is past, but then struggle to feel present. They'll say experience is power, but feel less satisfied than ever. Because experience without direction doesn't build wisdom, it builds restlessness. Quick heads up before we keep going. I've got a Facebook page where I post a lot more of this stuff. It's not a business page, it's not monetized, and it's not a brand. It's a non-profit page. I run it purely because I think these conversations actually matter. No sponsors, no ads, no fake positivity, just raw clips, thoughts, arguments, humour, and uncomfortable topics people avoid. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not pushing an agenda. It's just a place for people who still like thinking, questioning, disagreeing, and laughing without everything being cleaned up for algorithms. If you agree with me, disagree with me, or just want somewhere that isn't filtered to death, the link's there. You'll usually see stuff there before it ever hits YouTube. Alright, back to the video. And now you have a generation that knows how to meet, but not how to keep. That knows how to attract, but not how to attach. That knows how to flirt, but not how to stay. And the illusion tells them, don't worry, you can always find someone else. Which sounds empowering on the surface, until you realize that means no one is irreplaceable. And if no one is irreplaceable, no one is deeply valued. And if no one is deeply valued, nothing feels safe. Nothing feels rare. Nothing feels sacred. And people don't get hurt by the number. They get hurt by what the number represents. A pattern of leaving. A habit of upgrading. A comfort with replacement. A fear of choosing fully. Because here's the part nobody likes admitting. High body count doesn't scare people away because of judgment. It scares people because it suggests you didn't stop. Not because you couldn't, but because you wouldn't. And that creates doubt. Not about morality, but about stability. Because people don't want to compete with the past. They want to build a future. And you can't build deeply with someone who's always mentally browsing. And the illusion keeps selling this lie. That more experience equals more satisfaction. But satisfaction doesn't come from quantity. It comes from meaning. Meaning only comes when options close. When choice becomes commitment. When curiosity becomes loyalty. When exploration becomes presence. Most people aren't proud of their body count at 30. They are confused by it. Because it didn't give them what it promised. It didn't make love easier. It didn't make connection stronger. It didn't make commitment safer. It just made detachment, familiar, and familiarity feels like control. Until you realize it's just emotional distance. And the illusion of endless options doesn't just affect women, it affects men too. Men chase numbers. Women chase validation. Both chase the illusion. And both end up lonelier than they expected. Because the illusion doesn't care who you are. It only cares that you keep scrolling. That you keep replacing. That you keep upgrading. that you never stop choosing, because the moment you stop choosing, you start building. And building removes you from the market, and the market hates when you leave. So it tells you, don't settle, don't limit yourself, don't commit too early, don't close doors, while quietly making sure you never walk through one fully. So body count becomes just another statistic in a system that profits from movement, not meaning. And it's not about judging numbers. It's understanding what numbers do. They don't make you powerful. They make you capable at leaving. And leaving feels strong. Until you realize staying is the real risk. And risk is where love actually lives. So the illusion of endless options doesn't create queens or kings. It creates tourists, passing through experiences, collecting moments, never building a home. And the tragedy isn't how many people someone slept with. The tragedy is how few they truly stayed with. Because in the end, it's all about whether you could love. And love doesn't grow in a market, it grows in a decision. If you understand this now, you are already ahead of most people. Subscribe, because we are not done talking yet. Thank you, I'll see you in the next one.